right? And we're just getting going. And Corrie and I are sitting very close to one another because
and I have a lot of wires.
And Corrie has a lot of wires. You guys, hey, thank you for joining us again.
Okay.
We are here with XOverland with Clay and Rachelle. Yesterday we were having a great chat, and the power just aggressively shut us down. we had a we had a
right.
we had a
Right
power
after
outage.
we had an earthquake, and then down there, your power went out.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
I'm gonna listen for sound.
So we were aggressively shut down. So today we're going to try and get through this without natural disaster, etc. So thank you for thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome.
Yes. So during our last chat, we got a bit about your background, how XOverland had started, and today we're going to continue to take questions from folks as they roll in.
Yes, Rodrigo, what's up, man?
Hi, Rodrigo.
Stoner.
Nice to see you guys again.
We have some familiar faces.
Hey,
Hayden.
Yesterday in the conversation, we started talking about, after the background, you guys are both adventurers individually, and you adventure together as well. It'd be great to get a perspective, your individual perspective on adventures and the kinds of things that led you into this lifestyle that you live right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll start. The first time I remember being stuck was out on the ranch with my dad trying to take us into this fishing hole. And I was with my mom, my dad, my older sister, and younger brother. We were all there, and we were in a Jeep Wagoneer with a Woody Jeep Wagoneer, and we tried to cross this stream.
How old were you?
I don't know. I think I was maybe 9.
Okay.
Or something like that.
So you get to throw somebody.
I was really young.
You get to throw somebody else under the bus for this. Then it wasn't your responsibility here.
Right. It wasn't my. I was along for the ride, and I remember my dad, who is a full-blown cowboy, in his cowboy boots, taking us fishing, and we're going through this thing, and we got stuck in the creek, and I remember my sister freaking out. I remember my mom being annoyed, my dad having to problem solve, and I was just loving it the whole time. I was like, this is the best. I'm having so much fun. And my dad, long story short, my dad had to walk about 3 miles to go, get some help. And then I don't actually remember what else happened. I just remember being stuck in this creek and having to crawl out the back glass of the Jeep Wagoneer.
Right.
And that's the first time that I think I may have gotten bit by the adventure bug.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is a problem, and I really loved it.
Yep.
So from there, I was way into mountain biking in junior high, and that's when I started to figure out that I needed to learn how to support myself to do things. So I saved my money, worked hard, bought a mountain bike, got into that. And then by high school, I found a group of friends that were into backpacking. And then backpacking really took off. My senior year of high school, between September and May, we spent a month in the backcountry. Just backpacking on the weekends and climbing, learning to get into climbing and mountaineering. Mm-hmm. And then from there, went to mountaineering school through NOLS, the National Outdoor Leadership School. And that was in 2000 or something like that, the year after I graduated, mm-hmm. and really learned okay, I like leadership, I like mountaineering, I like problem solving and adventure and expeditions. Mm-hmm. And that transferred into, eventually we got married in 2004.
I wasn't going to help you on that one.
And I never make a mistake like that.
Yeah. Goodness. Married in 2004, and we had a 5-year plan, and our 5-year plan was epic. It was going to be awesome. We were going to go to Slovenia and live in Europe for a year. We were going to go do all this stuff, and then we like each other. We had a baby.
Yes.
Yay.
8 months in to marriage, Shelly, we find out Shelly's pregnant, and like it shut us down. We were like, oh no, like this was not part of the plan,
Yeah.
but it worked out okay. We were like, we took
Yeah.
it in stride, and that got me into taking weekend warrior trips in a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't go on long-term backpacking trips anymore. I kind of had to stick closer to home. So I had the original Tacoma pickup that was in our original series, or what we call season 0 now.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it out and started backpacking out of my pickup.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2001 Tacoma 4-door TRD.
Yep. You'd strap
Off-road.
Cy in the back seat.
Yeah.
In his car seat, it would those Tacomas.
Yeah.
Car seat takes up the whole thing.
Right.
Back seat.
And we go out there and we would go camping, and or I'd be able to go exploring by myself. And if I was getting away, and that's when I was like, oh, I really should probably get a winch because I'm out here by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to do a lot of recoveries, and and it just built, from mountaineering school to learning to backpack and do long-term trips, to now applying it to vehicles, now being solo a lot, learning recovery skills, etc. And then it just compounded into what we do today.
Right.
But as an adventurer, I think that's kind of my short story of how I got to where I am now.
Yeah. And clearly, when with the passion, and then the longer duration and more elaborate expeditions require more gear, more planning, more equipment as the type of trip escalates.
Yeah, exactly. And then I would say you get to this phase where you start taking every piece of equipment that you have, and then you start to realize that that's a really bad idea. And then you start separating your equipment, and you start doing loadouts from that point. Okay, I'm doing this type of trip. I need this type of loadout. And then I need this. I'm going over here. I can go real light, or okay, this is a big trip. I need to really look at specialty equipment for whatever the situation dictates. Yeah. Those are just things you learn over time. And as you tackle bigger and bigger experiences or longer term trips, things like that. So,
Hey, I'm going to jump in here. I'm looking over here to our chat and just do a rundown. We got Ohio, we got Idaho, we got Washington, we got Michigan, we got Utah. Where else are you guys from? Let us know.
Tennessee.
And Michigan again. And
cool.
Let's see. And for those of you who are joining, so some of you might know that we were live yesterday and the power went out in our town, city.
We're back.
Hold on.
We're back.
So we're doing this again. And hey, Huckleberry.
What's going on, you guys?
South
Dakota.
Bay Area, South Dakota, Mountain View. Hey, guys.
Cool.
Adventure awaits Tennessee. Hello from Tennessee. I've watched all of Alaska, Yukon, and returned to the Mackenzie in the last few days and started Central America again today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We got Florida, Toronto.
Hard to hear me again. Gosh darn it. Let's see. Is this better? I'm just going to hold it right here if I have to.
That sounds good.
We got Texas. If you guys have questions, I'm going to be watching the chat feed to give them directly, serve them up. And, here's a question. Caveman Exchange. When did you decide that Toyota or Land Cruisers was the ideal vehicle to start with or acquire?
That is a good question.
Well, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
For the first time we actually got a Land Cruiser, so the year we started XO, I was pregnant with our third with Eli, and we had a little awesome sporty Subaru Outback. I loved it. It was a sedan, and it was like the first time I had like a nice car. And we found out we were pregnant with Eli, and we couldn't fit 3 car seats in the back, so we needed something bigger. Yeah. And one of our friends, actually Ryan Connolly, who you've seen in a couple of the episodes, he said, hey, I drove by Peak Cars in Bozeman. I see they have a really sweet 100 Series Land Cruiser. And I was like, I didn't even know what that was. I
Yeah,
think you
they're
did.
like, we should go down there and look at it.
Go check it out. Yeah. And we were also looking at a sequoia that was
Yep.
used.
Because we're looking at family things.
Family,
you know?
yeah. Fit all the kids in there, do all the things.
Mhm.
And long story short, I told Clay, I was like, well, I think I want the Land Cruiser because I just think it looks cooler.
Yep.
Which she's right.
Which is
that was
correct.
our
Yes.
first experience with the Land Cruiser, and then we fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
Yeah.
realized it did everything.
Falling in love with Toyotas.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a ranching family, so a Toyota was you better not bring that around here, sort of thing.
Yep.
You know, so I didn't have any exposure to Toyotas growing up. Where I got my first set of exposure to Toyotas, let's see, it would have been when I was a senior in high school, I needed to buy a car, so I came across a Land Rover Discovery, Disco 3 maybe it was at the time, and so I started doing reviews because I really liked the looks of the car, and everybody knows a Land Rover looks the part. So it had swooned me. I wanted this car. This is really cool, you know, and I started diving into the reviews on it, and they were horrendous. You know, like, oh, do not buy this car, all this stuff. And then I went back to this car, and I found a lot of the things that I was finding online, you know, early, you know, this is 99, 98, somewhere in there, probably 99, 2000. Yeah. And so anyway, I was like, yep, confirmed. This Land Rover, I should not buy this. And because I found digging through that, people were highly recommending Toyotas. And so then I went into it, you know, like I'm a total product of liking Toyotas from the internet.
Yep.
You know, and people giving their reviews and stuff. And so I started looking around and like, yeah, you're right. People are saying this. So I just kind of decided to go for it. And then I got one. Mm-hmm. And it made sense right away. And so Toyotas became a thing.
Yep. And my dad's a very good mechanic. Was his full-time job growing up. And so he always told me never buy anything other than a Honda or a Toyota. Mm-hmm. So.
And I was dating you at the time.
So, yeah.
So there's probably influence from your dad there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that's probably how we got to know Toyotas.
It's interesting. I'll just give a little anecdote before we hear Rachelle's adventure background. But similarly, I was looking at different vehicles that checked all the boxes, and I was looking between the 80 series Land Cruiser and the Disco 2, the Discovery. And in similar fashion, a lot of the same features, form factors very similar, but the true cost of ownership is what kicked me over to the Land Cruiser. I really liked the Discovery, but just the reviews online and the true cost of ownership for repairs pushed me over to it. It was really significantly different, and so it pushed me over to the Land Cruisers. You know, why I went with Toyota.
Really quick, Xander's Wayne, your comment didn't post, but I can see it. And he's saying the champion of champions in the fields. Give it up for the Mitsubishi Montero 99.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. Hey.
Yes.
The Montero.
Hey, that's a cool car.
Those are really cool cars.
The Montero. I used to have this remote control car when I was a kid, and it was called the Fast Attack vehicle, and it was a Mitsubishi Montero.
Oh, yeah.
There's a legacy.
I think I may have looked at those too during that time. It's still cool car.
Yeah,
cool car.
All right. Hey, Sir William, you made it back. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to hold on. There's a couple more questions that came in. I think they're
Okay.
quick, they could be as quick as we'd like them to be.
Yeah.
From Roller Angel, what's your favorite place in Montana that you haven't already mentioned on the show?
Oh, well, many, but I won't mention them on any show. You're going to have to come and find out for yourself.
Yeah.
Let me rant for a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to
You're
rant
on
for
the
just
clock.
a second. I'm on the clock. Okay. So there are so many wonderful places in the world that should never be talked about on the internet. And because they should be left for you to go find them. And we so many places or so many people get stuck that like, well, I'm not going to go anywhere unless I have a GPX file or something like that. But, oh, man, be prepared that the better things that you're ever going to find are not ever listed out there, and people keep them quiet. So you might find that you have a lot of great stuff out there, but that's not even the best, because it's just like any good hunting spot or any good fishing spot. They require trust to either find out about, or you just going out and stumbling upon them, and that's what makes them so great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great spots out here.
There's one of Corrie and I's favorite stories is driving to a location in the dark, not knowing where we were going because we were just on a track, winding everything out, going to bed, and we woke up in the morning when the sun came up, having never seen the location before, and it was this perfect vista overlooking a cliff, looking at the surrounding mountains, and it was just absolutely gorgeous, just a magical moment.
we were a giggle. We were
giggling. We were laughing.
Yeah.
We were just like,
That is so great.
yeah. So
That is the best.
Yeah.
it's nice to discover places for sure.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, let's see. I think we'll come back to the questions.
Yeah.
I want to hear from Rachelle.
Yep. Great.
I want to hear about your background because
Sounds good.
yeah, that's
Born and raised in Montana. So I grew up, I was the youngest of 3. And from a young age, we actually lived out of town on 5 acres. And I was very much, we were talking about being a product of the 80s kids, just you're rough and tumble and riding bikes and doing all the things that people would not approve of these days with your kids, but survived through it. And I've always been a go-getter. I've always loved adventure. I'm more of the adrenaline pusher, I would say, out of the 2 of us, except that I didn't want to do powered paragliding, which was interesting.
That's just different.
It's just different. Yeah. And so, some people have heard, but we met in high school. We were high school sweethearts, dated young, and we got married young in 2004. So I was actually 20 when we got married. You were 21, 22?
Yeah, 21.
21. And then we got pregnant with Cyrus when I was 21. And, life gets real and serious there pretty quick, and you figure stuff out. So long story short, just going through that whole process and being so young, I'd kind of just pushed down that adventure side in me a lot, because I was like, well, I guess this is just what I do now. I'm going to be home with the kids, and that's what I'd seen modeled. I hadn't seen a lot of women go out and be adventurous and kind of continue on that lifestyle. So fast forward to when we start XOverland, and I just had Eli, and actually Clay came to me. You'd premiered the first episode in Hollister, California.
We just launched the very first episode of season 0.
Yeah.
Those first 6 episodes,
Yep.
and came across and met Emily Miller.
And she was there talking about this all women's rally in Morocco, and it was called the Rally Aisha des Gazelles, and it was a 9-day, touted to be the most challenging rally, off-road rally, like in the world. And it's 9 days, map and compass only, no GPS. You have a navigator and a driver, and there was hardly any American influence. It's very heavily French based. And so Emily had done it a few years prior and had just had an amazing experience and wanted to come back and share that with everyone. And so Clay brought me this little postcard, and I looked at it and I was like, wouldn't that be nice? Kind of rolled my eyes and was like, I was in a dark place.
Well, when you have kids and they're young,
Yeah.
I mean, we had 3 fairly young kids.
Yeah.
You
And we're
just kind of
broke
are
and-
in survival mode.
We're in survival
You know?
mode. We're broke, can't pay the bills and all that stuff. So, but that was our first year we went to the SEMA Auto Show,
Mm-hmm.
and we were in the Max Trax booth, and I met my first teammate there, Julie Meadows, and she was like, hey, did you hear about this crazy rally in Morocco? And I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And the coolest thing happened was all you guys came around us. It was like Brian McVickers, it was you, it
Brad
was
McCarthy.
Brad McCarthy from Max
Max Trax.
Trax, and Ben, and they were like, you girls should totally go do this. And we were like,
Awesome.
really? And I was like,
it's in 5 months.
it's in 5 months. And I was like, well, I really like to drive. I've loved driving since I can remember. And Julie was like, well, I'll learn how to navigate. And that's literally how it started.
Yeah.
And
They had 5 months to,
Yeah.
I think you had to raise $35,000.
yeah.
Ship a truck. The Meadows shipped their truck. Like we went through so many things so fast.
I don't even know.
Learn to fundraise, learn to ship trucks, learn to travel internationally. And then you got over there and then you did it.
We flew over to Paris. A friend met the truck in Belgium. And then we had to drive from Paris all the way to the start of the rally, which was in Erfoud, Morocco. So that was a whole nother rally before the even rally started, which I had no idea what I was getting into there. And again, we don't speak French. We had no idea what we were doing. So we were just bumbling through this thing.
What place did you take that year?
Like 84 or something.
84th or something?
Yeah, but our goal was to just finish. We're like, if we can just go and finish. Because it's fun. These rallies, you don't show up your first year and do well at.
You just go figure it out.
You just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We spent almost every day lost somewhere in Morocco. At one point, this guard from one of the tower houses came down with German shepherds close to the Algerian border and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Went through like 3 languages that I didn't speak.
Yeah.
And so lots of crazy stories. But that really, I came back from that experience because you're on your own during the day. And if something breaks, you figure it out. If it's that kind of what you were mentioning, it's just the problem solving. It was constant. And it's so easy, especially for me, with these awesome men we have around. But it's just like, hey, will you just go fix that? Hey, babe, will you fix that? And I caught myself being there. And the first day, I think I asked, like, well, I can't get this thing out. I was trying to like unhook the air compressor hose. I was like, I need a guy. And I got chewed out in French hardcore for saying that.
I need a guy.
I need a guy. What are you going to do in the middle of the desert? There are no men out there to help you. And I was like, okay.
I will say this, like we talk about how adventure changes you. And now adventure, like it's changed you, it's changed me.
Yeah.
And I saw adventure really change Rachelle in a big way. Like she came back, she was gone for 3 weeks, and she came back a different person. And due to the impact of having to be self-reliant, having to push yourself somewhere into places in your own life that you've never been, having to overcome things, and you came back a different person. And it was so striking that there was a period of time where the marriage had to adjust to it. Where it's like, okay, we're under different rules now. Like, you just the social dynamic changed of everything. And it was very good. It was it took adjustment, but we were both like, okay, this is good. Like whatever happened, this is good. We're adjusting to it, but this was powerful. Yeah. And so if anybody's out there wondering if they should go do something big and scared of it, you should absolutely go do it.
At least try.
Because it will change you and you will not be the same person.
Yeah.
On the other end, you'll be a better person.
Yeah. And it was interesting. I'm always drawn to things that I know will be hard. And I don't know if that's a personality thing or what, but I know that I'll come out better on the other side. So of course I get back my first year and I was like, I got to go back. I just have to go back. So I've done that rally 3 times and each year got a little better. The second year, I think we were 48th. And then the third year we were 14th with an amazing big group of American teams. There was 10 of us American teams. The first year I was one of 2 American teams. And then Emily started the Rebel Rally in 2016 for over here in the U.S. And it's such a great thing. It's primarily Nevada and California. Yeah. And so I competed in that 2016. And then just last year in 2019, Taylor and I competed and we won in the 4x4 class for Lexus. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. It was like, it felt really good. It still feels good.
Great overnight success there, Rachelle.
Overnight success.
Yeah, it's just from nothing and all of a sudden,
So I love those rallies. I love the women that participate in them. And that was the other thing, that side product that came from that, is I got to meet all these women. I thought I was one of the only ones that loved this kind of adventure and lifestyle. And you get into those places, and I'm sure you see a Corrie in the Overland Bound group, but you're like, oh, there's more of you out here. And
yeah, it really is
such a cool camaraderie.
Making sure the representation is happening.
Yeah.
That you know, in a perfect world, Michael and I talk about this often. In a perfect world, there's no conversation about gender and adventure or
Totally.
off-road or any of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
for
I agree.
now, getting the representation of women seeing other women doing it to help plug them into it is accessible. You know, it's accessible. You can do it too. It's not a club. No
Yep,
secret
for sure.
handshakes. You know?
Yeah.
Yep. And just doing, I think the big thing for me, I understand it does not appeal to many women to ship a truck to Morocco and go be lost in a desert for 9 days, you know, but that's okay. It's finding those things that you're drawn to, that maybe those things buried so deep that you didn't even know were still there. It was just kind of that idea of, oh, when I was a kid, I used to want to be a singer, or I used to want to do this, and start exploring those things again.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'm looking at chat over here.
I want to, I sort of want to touch on a common thread, sort of a core that, you know, goes through what XOverland is about and what Overland Bound is about. And it's that adventure being necessary as a part of living, that changes you, makes you a better person. And this isn't it's a very broad topic, but if just to touch on a couple of highlights.
You're saying the audio is jacked up on Clay. Audio just went crazy.
Let's see, I'll make
I don't know if
sure.
it's me. I'm hearing it come through our speakers too.
I can hear you.
Oh, there's a squeal.
Yeah, I don't think I can do anything on this end.
T's done.
I'm going to check all my connections.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, we got one report. It's better now.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything I can do. Wow.
It says feedback.
Better now.
Somebody's saying better now.
There was a squelch, but it's gone for me.
Okay. Yep.
When you had hand on mic, it went away.
So
Not feedback interference.
yeah, so they're saying it's better now.
No, it's back again. Oh, interference.
Problem solving in action. Yes, Raymond, that's what we're trying.
Yes.
We're trying for you guys.
I came back.
Comes and goes. Ground interference still there. Thank you for being patient with us, guys.
Okay, so
Gone.
we're gonna saying it's gone now. Nobody move. So now
Just
from now on,
freeze.
you guys are gonna see our mouths move, but we're not gonna move. But we're I'm kidding.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So
It says like it's in its
the core of
When-
sort of a common thread, the core of adventure, overlanding, adventure being necessary. If you think about it, you're solving problems. In the end, you know, I think you're involved with things that are real, and on a day-to-day basis, whether it's, you know, the 9-to-5 grind or what have you, you kind of get in this rhythm, and it strips away. It can strip away some elements of what really matters. And as soon as you're on the trail, you're on an expedition, you're having to get from point A to point B, you need water, you've busted an axle, you have a flat. Are you going to get back or not? Things become very real and distilled down.
Yeah.
You treat each other better because I need your help, and I got to be able to ask for your help. I can't be a jerk, you know, and when you come back from those experiences, you feel better about yourself. You did overcome. So I don't know. I just think that that's kind of a common thread between, you know, what we all do as adventurers and that need to go out and do something that is adventurous. And like you said, Clay and Rachelle, it's like if you have a question about whether you should, the answer is yes. You know, even if it scares you, go do it. Yeah. Rachelle, any rallies coming up, or what's next on that horizon?
Yeah, hopefully we are registered for this year's Rebel Rally for 2020. Yeah.
Great.
So I don't know what we're driving yet.
Yeah.
I've got a call with some people next week, so we'll see how that goes. I'd love to keep driving for Lexus. It was such a great experience. But we'll show up driving something.
Yep, right.
Doesn't matter what you drive.
It doesn't matter what you drive. Well, run what you brung.
Yep, even if that was cool. We got to drive a Lexus GX 460, and we were in the bone stock category. So the only
Very
thing
cool.
we were allowed to do is put tires on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a little
Got
bit
it.
bigger general tire on it, and that's all we did. Besides a roof rack, but that doesn't, mess with anything else. Kept it just really light, really stripped down, and took it through some pretty crazy things that you would think Alexis could go through. It was really fun. It was a good challenge.
Well, let's talk about.
GXs are awesome.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. A stock 4x4.
Nope.
Michael, I just lost you on the audio.
I wonder if it's a battery.
Sometimes that can be like battery going bad.
Check.
Got you there.
How about now?
Still got you.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. So a vehicle off the showroom floor that is, designed to go off road can scare you plenty, right?
Totally.
It's plenty capable. We do say it doesn't matter what you drive, but now let's talk about that in terms of as your trip gets more elaborate, it does matter where you drive it, right? So like if you are running a vehicle that is, let's take a Subaru Outback, awesome, capable vehicles, but within their weight class, there are limitations with where so
Just came in and out.
In and out.
Gotcha. So as you're
I don't know what it is.
So sorry. We're like charades over here.
we have gremlins through our audio.
Audio is always the biggest battle.
Always.
We get chewed out on our lives all the time for audio. Well, how to fix all that stuff is actually very complex. It goes from very simple to extremely complex.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We're into charades. Okay. Here we go.
1 minute.
We take an intermission. Okay. Let's report on what we see here. Michael is under the desk. Corrie is coming in from the side of the frame.
Okay.
Seems hopeful.
Check.
Oh, it's good. Gotcha.
Nope.
No, it's gone. And I hear a little pop. I hear like a pop and a pop and a pop. And then when you get closer or move, then I can hear it.
Huh.
So I heard you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hear you there.
Okay. I'm gonna stay right like this. So I'm gonna talk less and let you guys talk more.
Okay.
In case I'm having some mic issues. Talk about layering on equipment as your trips become more elaborate and being prepared for that.
Sure. Okay, so if we were to break down vehicle builds, in my opinion, you have your foundational equipment, tires, suspension, typically some sort of armor that allows you to carry recovery devices like a winch, and then other devices that or accessories that can allow you to carry the necessary equipment into the field that you need, like a roof rack. Many other things become past that point are accoutrements. Other than a refrigerator, I think a refrigerator is like one of the best things you could ever put in a vehicle right off the bat.
They're pretty
and because
nice.
it changes your life, it changes a lot of things.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for that, but let's just leave it at that for a minute. So going into what we have found as it pertains to travel and long distance and expeditions, the weekend warrior trip is a great foundational element to building yourself into the 10-day trip. And then once you can master a 10-day trip and like get through the cycle of what that looks like, longer trips become 10-day trips repeated over and over and over again.
Right.
So and then the type of equipment that you bring for whatever expedition you're going on or trip dictates the equipment. Usually for us, it comes down to the biggest variable is clothing and the type of sleeping bag that you bring. The rest of it's kind of stapled. You got your tent, you got your truck, you got your food and your stove. The big variable is like what clothing are you going to wear for the environments that you're going into. Our South America expedition was the biggest challenge because we were going to be in 3 environments. We're going to be in jungle, we're going to be in high mountain winter, and we were going to be in really wet weather.
Yeah.
So that we had to carry a bunch of different equipment, and we staged things differently so that we could upfit and load out differently through the different phases of the trip. And there's no one size fits all on these trips. Like a weekend warrior trip, go as light as you possibly can. A backpacker can do it in a backpack. You should be able to do it in the same thing. Just carry it in your pickup or your truck. Try that. Start minimalistic. And then work your way up there. Anything beyond that is just stuff that makes things more comfortable, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
A lot of times we'll get some criticism like, oh, you never use or you have all this stuff. Well, the reason we have a lot of the stuff that we do is because we want to thrive on the road for a long period of time.
Right.
And the things that we have on our vehicles allow us to do that. We could sure rough it for as long as we wanted in some way, but we're not there to rough it. We're there to experience the world and thrive on a trip.
Well, and for us too, they're more work trips. So we're going and we're filming, we're working usually 12-hour plus days, which I think so our style of travel is a lot different if we're going just with the boys and we're having a leisurely trip. Because a lot of why we do want people to be comfortable is we work them really hard.
We work hard.
And that team morale, is so important. So it's like, hey, if you want that to be comfortable and get you through that 6-week push, you can have it, man.
That's when the gear really becomes super important.
Yep.
If you're going to go out and do weekend warrior trips, you can get away with a lot of the cheaper things. You can get away with, subpar equipment to a certain degree. But then once you really start pushing your trucks over long durations, long trips, places where you can't go to another store and fix it, that's when the quality of the equipment starts to really matter.
Yeah.
I'll always advocate for buy the best equipment that you can afford.
Yeah. Buy once, cry once.
Yeah. Buy once, cry once, do your best. And what that looks like to you is going to be different to what that looks like to the next guy.
I think it depends too what challenge you're wanting in the trip. Because you take like the Highlands, like Ray Highland and his wife, Marianne, and that old, what did they
Series
have?
1 Land Rover.
Series 1 Land Rover with their 3 boys. And that was part of their trip is they knew it was going to be challenging. They knew they'd have mechanical failures and to fix it along the way. And that's awesome. That's what they love to do.
To recap, that was 9 months in a 2-door Land Rover with 5 people in it.
3 big boys. They were all teenagers
and
in the back seat.
Doing the Silk Road.
Right.
So like you choose your own adventure on what you want, and wherever you fit on the scale is just up to you. It's your trip.
Yep.
But so and the equipment that you bring, like our Greenland expedition in 18 was like a whole nother animal. Like we were dealing with very unique conditions, extremes of cold, very specialized vehicles. It required very special certain gear We had requirements from the governments that we had to have X amount of calories per person per day. All kinds of things can come in. So it just really depends on where you are on the spectrum, and your loadout changes accordingly.
Mm-hmm. But I think bottom line, the driveway you have in your vehicle will take you
The
pretty
driveway
much.
you got your turds twisted.
The driveway. Oh, the the vehicle you have in your driveway.
There you go.
There we go. Will take you pretty much anywhere you'd want to go. Throw a sleeping bag in the back and some mountain houses and a jet oil.
Go for it.
And just go for it. See what you learn.
Yep.
Just be smart and responsible.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Caveat
Are you guys?
or disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Got you there. Maybe. Not a.
Oh man,
Equipment.
it's so.
Been here
Mm-hmm.
many times. Be here again.
Yep.
It's just part of the gig. So I know that while we're waiting, one of the questions you were going to ask us is what we're going to do next, what's coming up for Expedition Overland. And for what's coming up with Expedition Overland is we have launched a new series called Solo. And Solo is a series that allows us as a brand of Expedition Overland and a company to send strategic people out into the field to tell their stories from a single point or a single vehicle perspective. We've been doing expeditions with fleet trucks for years, three vehicles, 2 or 3, and as a big team. So this allowed us the opportunity to do things on a solo basis, which introduces new challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Production is a major challenge with only 2 people. There's a lot of great people out there that have been shooting YouTube channel stuff as just a family, and you can see the challenges involved with shooting a show with 1 vehicle. So there'll be challenges there, but then the story changes too. Think of like Survivor Man and things like how he was able to always tell like a very good story from the perspective of one person having to run cameras. The production value changes, but the story element can stay very high, and there's grace for that. And so we took that on, and so this year we have 3 trips that are scheduled. One just completed. The Giordano's, Ashley and Richard Giordano from Desk to Glory, have been a part of our team for a couple of years now. And they just did an Arctic trip. They left Bozeman, Montana in our 2016 Tacoma and went up to Tuktoyaktuk in the Northwest Territories and back over the course of a month in the winter. And we just got off the phone with them before we hopped on here, and they're doing really great. They shot a great series. It's going to be a 5-part series.
Cool.
And there'll probably be around 15-minute episodes is what we're shooting for that one. And then we're working on our second big trip for the year. We haven't announced anything major with that, but it has a international feel if we can get it done. COVID-19 is affecting our plans right now. We have contingency plans to push that trip. It was supposed to launch. Shipping was occurring May 1st, but that may change.
Right.
But right now we have a secondary plan to bump that just 8 weeks, and it'll be on track so that people could see everybody at Expo West, which is now in July, which will be there in force. So stay tuned for those announcement for the big story that's happening. It's really cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Talk about people that are taking it on. It's really cool. So I'll leave you with that one. And then I'll be doing a trip too with my boys. And we'll be doing it in the AEV Prospector with the 4-wheel camper on the back. And we're about finished up with that truck build right now. We'll debut that coming up in a couple of days on our own social channel. So check us out in a few days and get the reveal on that vehicle. And that'll be this summer at some point when all this COVID stuff blows over and it's prudent to go out and about.
Right.
We'll be shooting that. That'll be a 4-part series on Solo.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, are you guys picking up my voice now?
I got you.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good. That was easy.
Tell him I have a wire hanger, but I have a wire hanger and it goes off camera.
All right. So So you guys were also talking about maybe announcing some lucky winners today.
We did. Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we do that?
Sounds
You want
good.
us to do it?
Yeah, sure.
I still have the paper here. So we did a quick thing. This was for our Amazon Prime. We're trying to just boost and keep our good reviews up. I mean, selfishly trying to keep our good reviews up on Amazon Prime. So we ran this giveaway, and there's 4 questions.
We should see if the Overland Bound audience will know these
Yeah, we'll see.
answers to
Cool.
the questions.
So, and if you know the answers because you watched our live just like an hour ago, leave it for the other guy. Let's see if he knows it. Okay, so what? These are all from
South America.
South America, season 3.
Yeah.
We'll just answer them real quick. What local Colombian snack did the team try? Is the question there.
We
Okay.
need
I'll give you
Jeopardy
5
music.
seconds.
Do, do.
Any answers? We're going to take the first ones or first 3. I can't see them, Michael, so you'll have
Right.
to.
We're looking. We're seeing.
What local Colombian snack did the team try?
What local Colombian snack did the team try? Does anybody there in the chat know?
Well,
Okay, Sir William goes. Scorpions.
no.
Ooh.
Nice try.
Okay,
That's a good try.
Abel.
And I would never eat a scorpion.
Abel
What's
said
that?
ants.
Ants.
Oh.
Okay, that's close enough. It was roasted ant butts.
Roasted ant butts. All right.
Yeah. And they were huge.
They
like
were
the size of your
huge.
pinky nail.
Good job,
Roasted.
Abel.
Okay,
Justin
next-
in your
Hopkins
teeth.
got it.
Yeah. Ugh.
Wait, was that before
Hopkins got
Abel?
it verbatim.
Nice.
Roasted ant butts.
Well, yes, but
That's
I
it.
have to say Abel was
Yeah.
first.
So the second question was, what other TV show crossed the gnarly railroad bridge in Colombia?
Okay.
I'm going to come back into the picture.
I'm assuming you all heard that question.
Yeah, what other TV show crossed the gnarly railroad bridge in Colombia?
Okay.
We
Grand
were
Tour.
shocked. Saw this. Money. They got it.
Grand Tour. That was
Grand
Abel
Tour.
as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Rockstar.
All right.
That one was pretty cool to see Grand
Yeah.
Tour go over the same bridge that we had a couple years prior.
I will say they were a little more dramatic. About
They
it.
were a little more dramatic about it.
They had the slow-mo going. They had the 120 frames.
Oh yeah.
all the sound effects of like.
But they did it so well.
They
I
did.
watched
They
it,
really
and it was
did.
really fun to see the two. Like, okay, we did that, and then they went and did that, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they are good at what they do.
Very cool.
Number 3, what nickname was Nate given in Bolivia?
Okay, what nickname was Nate given in Bolivia?
A tip would be it is a cartoon character from a very popular
Okay,
Disney.
so Abel is Johnny on the spot here. Was it Woody?
It is.
Yes.
Nate has an
Welcome
uncanny
for the hat
resemblance
trick.
to Woody
From Toy Story.
from Toy Story.
And he was a lady magnet
He
over there.
was.
So everywhere he went, all the girls just wanted
Just
photos
loved
with
him.
Nate because he was tall, white.
And he had the hat of Woody.
He had the hat. He just was hilarious everywhere we went.
Okay, and the final question was how many cars on average per year go through this specific Chile to Argentina border that leads into the 7-mile stretch of no man's land on the Rio. It's called the Paso Rio Mire, the passage at the River Mire.
Okay.
Who knows that one? This is how many cars a year go through this border point.
Okay.
On
That's a
average.
good one.
average.
That's okay. So Abel again. What was it? 5?
It is 5.
He watched.
Abel watched.
He
this.
watched our YouTube live,
Guaranteed.
didn't he?
Yeah.
You know,
bet.
So,
Justin, I
anyway,
think-
it was 5.
Yes.
And
Very good.
it was an amazing border crossing. It was one of the most remote places in the world I've been. Like there's Greenland and Wolfland at the very top of Greenland, and then
Yeah.
there's like the Paso Rio Mire in the southern part of Chile and Argentina. This is just a wild place. You can only cross it for about 2 or 3 weeks out of the year.
Wow.
Because otherwise the rivers are too high
Mhm.
or the snow is in too far. And you can't do it. So it is a very special crossing. So yeah, anyway, the winners were, if you're paying attention, Stanley prize pack was Brad Basic. The $50 X-Store gift card was Sarah and Daniel Hull. And the sticker patch pack was Jason Haley. Helly. I still haven't got it. Hellie. Helly. Jason Helly. So yeah, those thanks
Cool.
to all the people that participated in that. It was
Cool.
kind of fun.
Well,
thing
now
that
we
we
need
did.
to give Abel something because he was on the spot.
Abel,
Abel.
reach
He's
out
on
to
it.
me. Reach out to me, Abel, on our forums. I'm Michael in our forums. Michael. Send me a PM and we'll take care of you. That was very impressive.
That was impressive.
very
That was
impressive.
very
We're happy
impressive.
to pitch something in too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was very
Nice
impressive.
work. Nice
Very
work.
good.
If you didn't cheat.
As long
Yeah,
as-
that's legit. I will test you. Abel's saying he's binged every season. So
Oh, okay.
he's a
That's legit then.
he's a
Well,
true
thank you.
follower. That's awesome.
Well, we're
Thanks for
happy to
watching.
send you something, Mabel. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I'm
yeah.
red. I'm red in the face from
From
running-
audio screen,
from running behind the scenes.
you did a great job.
Nice work.
Nice work.
Oh,
That's like us on the trail.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
It's getting her done.
yep.
Getting her done.
Let me see if.
All right.
we have-
Anything?
Let me.
What else, sweetie?
Well, I had, just in case we didn't get our sound, I had this ready to go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Amazing.
Amazon episode. So if you're not familiar, we did get our Pan American. We call it what do we call it? The Pan American Trilogy. All 3 episodes of what
Seasons.
it took, seasons of what it took to cross the Pan American over 7 years. Those 3 seasons are on Amazon Prime now.
Very cool.
And watch them there. Yeah, and we're working hard on getting other episodes there. We have a good establishment now with Amazon. So
Yeah.
we are working on getting the Return to the McKinsey over there.
Very cool.
We're working on getting 12 of the 15 episodes of Overlander over there and The Great Pursuit from last year.
Very cool.
So it's all in process. It just takes time. So yeah, hopefully through the next year, we'll be getting all of those on there.
Yeah.
And Amazon has been incredible. It has been awesome. So thanks to everybody who watches it there and who watches us on YouTube too. So thanks.
Very cool.
We're getting the feedback that you guys need to go to Australia. I'm sure no one tells you that at all.
Never.
Yes. Yeah. We're working on it. We have some amazing plans. So whenever we're in planning phase, right now we're executing for 2020 what was planned last year. And right now I'm in 2020 working on what 2021 looks like
Right.
because everything is already in motion for this year. So we have, let's narrow it down to, well, we have 3 destinations that we're really working hard at figuring out which one we're going to do. And each one of them is like, scares me.
Good.
That's when you know it's good.
Yeah.
When
That's
it
right.
scares you. You're like, oh,
That's
we should
right.
probably need to
Like,
do that one.
wow, okay. Yeah, we should probably do that. How are we going to do that?
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? You know, and
Yeah.
2 of them require government permissions
Mhm.
that just take time. One of them, we already have all the government permissions. So, but the logistical undertaking of that mission is so staggering that we looked at doing it last year and we couldn't get the funding for it.
Yep.
We looked at doing it and we were $150,000 short of being able to do it because it is so challenging
Yep.
and will take so long. So we'll see if that can sort out. Other options are just as cool. They're just different types of missions. So stay tuned.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to touch upon something. Sorry, I'm leaning over because this is the only microphone we have. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
you're
Okay.
great.
What would you say to the person who doesn't necessarily have the time and resources? What would you say to them as far as getting out there and doing it, even though they can't do it at the scale that that Expedition Overland rolls
Sure.
at, right? But what would you
Yeah.
directly suggest to them, bare bones, here's what you got to do just to get out and go?
Yeah.
Yep.
The very
Love
bare
it.
bones is a reliable vehicle. Go out somewhere that in a vehicle that you're pretty sure will get you back.
Yeah.
You know, and you need a sleeping bag, a good coat, and a stove,
Maybe some food.
and some food. You know, and you can go out and start having these adventures. Expedition Overland, we are incredibly fortunate to have sponsorships, be sponsored for years, and have top of the top name gear. You know,
Yep.
simply.
Yep.
But it does not require that. The vehicle that's probably in your driveway is sufficient. There are people that, and it depends on what you are wanting to do. Are you doing weekend warrior stuff to the local state park? Awesome. Are you wanting to travel around the world? You can certainly do that with a backpack. You know, you don't even need a vehicle to do that. It just really depends on what you're wanting to do, and then make sure that you do it. I think the biggest hurdle that I see people out there or trap that they find themselves in is they say, "Oh, I'm going to go on that trip. I just need to get that front bumper. As soon as I get that
Right.
front bumper, I'm going to go on that trip."
Mhm.
Or, "Oh, I just need a refrigerator and then I'll go on a trip." No, turn that thinking around. I was just on a trip and I could really use a refrigerator. You know, it comes from experience, not needing to have it before you go get experience.
Right.
Let that equipment speak for itself through your experience, and not just because you saw it on Instagram or you think that you need it from a web series TV show.
Yeah.
You know, it like you can get out there with what you got.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say too, the challenge I like to give people is, and we did this at Expo one year, I think after our Central America series, but get out your calendar, get out a map, look at your map. Where have you always wanted to go? Or where is there could be something cool 3 hours away from your home, you know, probably closer for a lot of people. And just put a date on the calendar.
Yep.
Start going.
Yep.
Because you just don't know. We don't know how much time we have left. And I think, at least for us, and that was the deciding factor for XOverland is, well, should we do this? Should we really do this? And I was like, we're going to regret it if we don't try. So what are those things that you'll regret not trying?
Yeah.
So,
And in the words of Warren Miller,
yeah.
next year you'll only be 1 year older when you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
time is limited. We had a good friend pass away last year, and it was a very sobering reminder to how you better just get after it. You better get to living, because you don't know what your clock is. You know,
Yep.
and those experiences are so incredible. The experience is what you want. It's not the truck, it's the experience. And if you're not getting those experiences, you got your priorities lopsided, you know,
Yep.
reevaluate that. So anyway, that's what I'd say. Put it on the calendar. You can do it. Even if you're scared of camping, camp in your driveway for the first night.
Yeah.
Run through all the systems before you leave out there. And then you have a base to go out there. You know, everybody has their different hurdles to get over.
Yep.
But address it and get over it and get out there.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to say that those are good words to wrap up on.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you again so much for joining us. You guys,
Is there anything else we should know
Yeah.
about what you guys are doing? What's
Yeah.
coming up?
please, is there anything else that we should mention?
Stay tuned. All the usual stuff,
Great.
please. You know, subscribe to YouTube channels, watch us on Amazon, wherever you've got access to it. And we love feedback. I'll be looking at doing some sort of a podcast coming up. I'm just now starting to talk about it. I was going to do it later in the year, but with everything going on, now is the time. So I want to do some more of that. And just watch your channels. And thank you so much, everybody out there, for watching and supporting us over the years. 10 years this year of Expedition Overland.
Yep.
You
Thank
guys,
you.
congratulations on that. That's absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic. Certainly a milestone.
Right on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you so
hanging
much.
You bet.
out. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
Talk to you
chat.
soon. Thank you,
Much
chat.
appreciated, chat.
Thank you,
bet.
everyone.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.